Mic'd up. Yeah.
You know, do we? It's this.
Sorry.
How are you, Dave?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I get credit for being on time tonight.
Yes, you do. It's not your,
I've been here.
you know, it says here, we have large print prayer books. I don't know where they are.
There they are. These have the internal joke. I like it. You're giving me testimonial tonight, right?
Oh, you are?
Shirt today. I don't know who.
Well, but I figured there'd be too many black shirts here.
No, we would actually we'd recruit you.
Give up Mahjong? What are you, nuts?
Lindsay didn't want to come, and I kind of.
Is Sherry coming?
No, Sherry's in Houston. She's coming
Oh,
back
that's right. You
tomorrow.
said that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I try to get Lindsay to come, and she said she'll come, but she's
All
like,
right, we ready?
you gotta pay attention to her. Talk to my daughter when she comes.
Oh, she's coming?
Yeah. Pay attention.
Oh, I'm gonna go sit down there.
She
It's
goes,
too
I don't
crowded
want to
up
come
here.
and sit alone. Nobody. Get all the baseball scores. While oh, are you timing tonight? Are you doing a stopwatch?
I will.
See if we can break 40
I don't think I'm
seconds.
gonna sit up here. I think I'm gonna go back down there.
Ready here,
Gentlemen,
Ready to rock?
start your engines.
So not really. I really could use a boost for local things.
So don't say anything bad about Neil. Okay?
We're on YouTube.
Just remember, don't say anything bad. Right? Don't say anything bad about Neil. Save it for later. Don't say anything about whatever you say.
Okay. That's not scary.
So pretend that we're very nice people.
Right. Right.
It's your show, Stuart.
When the oh, you're going to use that one. Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
When
is it
the when the slide changes to the blue slide with the same announcement you're making, that's when you.
Yeah, I did. Oh, you hit it, right?
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the go ahead.
So you're going to make the announcement in 30 seconds, and then I just.
Going live.
Part of the announcement is the fact that there's Community Day in Robbinsville tomorrow. People should come visit BethChaimChannel booth. Oh, are you up for mentioning tomorrow's Robbinsville Community Day? Okay. Robbinsville Community Day tomorrow.
Let's go.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Once again, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Neil Fetter, and on behalf of the Board of Directors of the congregation, welcome to Beth Chaim. Before we begin, please note the exit doors on either side of the rear of the sanctuary and on both sides of the balcony. In case of an emergency, please follow the instructions of those of us on the bima. As we prepare for Shabbat worship, we ask that you turn off all electronic devices. For the benefit of those who cannot be here in the sanctuary, we live stream our services and our photographer posts pictures on social media. Please see an usher or board member if you do not want your image to appear, and we ask that no one else take pictures during this sacred hour. Large print prayer books and hearing enhancement devices are available. Please ask any usher or board member if you wish to use either. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. In preparation for Kabbalat Shabbat, for the receiving of Shabbat, we have a new tradition that we have started. We invite each week one congregant to share a few words about his or her unique Beth Chaim experience and relationship. This week it's my great honor to invite Cliff Hochberg, a member of our board, to share a few thoughts.
Thank you. Should I use this? Oh, right here?
Either way.
Okay. Doesn't matter.
Here you go.
Hello, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. I was asked to speak a few words tonight and about my experience in Beth Chaim and how it relates to my Jewish real understanding and experience. And I go back to community. Community is a very important tenet in Judaism. And I grew up really in a conservative synagogue with an Orthodox rabbi. I went to Hebrew school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night services, Saturday morning junior congregation, and Sunday Talis and Tefillin club. So upon my bar mitzvah, I kind of exited my Jewish roots. It was too much for me. And I was really separated from the Jewish community for quite a long time. And then I had children, and I said, you know what, I have these roots, and it is important to me. That is my ethnicity. It's what I grew up with, and I had to find kind of the right flavor for me, which led me to Beth Chaim, because it really had, when I grew up, actually, Reform Judaism to me was like Christianity. With organ and it wasn't what I related to Judaism. And I found the right mix here. But my children would go to religious school, and I would drop them off, and I would never come in the building. That's kind of what I did or didn't do. And then I decided to show up to a Torah study, kind of, kind of really unknowing anything that I remembered as a child. And I found that, we all have our opinions, and our opinions matter in Judaism. You don't have to be the expert. Everybody's decision makes a difference. And so then I just, little by little, I just got a little bit involved in the synagogue. And then it was 2004, my wife was in a very, very serious car accident. It was really, thank God she's okay, but she was out of the house for 5 months. I had 2 little girls, I had my chiropractic practice, running back and forth, and this community, this BethChaim community, provided emotional support and quite truly physical support. We had a point person from BethChaim who was arranging, and I never asked for any of this, meals to come to my home every single night. They were arranging that with the people on my block, and I was getting volunteers to ask me, do the kids need to be driven around? And my experience of this community was so strong, and it was so meaningful for me. And I found myself getting more and more involved. Little did I know or ever imagine I would actually become president of the congregation. And so when asked to say what's the relevance of BethChaim in my Jewish connection, it has really been everything. And I am so grateful and thankful to have come to this congregation, and it's been quite a fulfillment for me. So, Shabbat Shalom.
It's one way to make an impression. Friends, we invite Lois and Benny Hayon to the honor of lighting Shabbat candles and Kiddush as we continue on pages 2 and 3.
Our source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushav mitzvotav v'ratzah banu. B'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava u'vratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah le'mikra'e kodesh, zecher le'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, ve'otanu kiddashta mikol ha'amim, b'shabbat Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
It is my great pleasure and honor to invite Ari Seth Blum, accompanied by his brother Jonah and mom and dad Sean and Rabbi Adina, as well as Jonah and Ari's grandparents, to please join us on the bima. Sean.
I know, I was sitting with the band next week.
You want to have grandparents stand?
ברוך הבא בשם אדוני, ברכנוכם מבית אדוני.
Blessed is he who comes in the name of God. Blessed are all who enter the sanctuary of God. This is a day of high hopes and expectations, for a child is the very embodiment of everything that is good and full of potential. This little boy is the hope of our future. Tonight, Ari Seth Blum is welcomed into his spiritual home by a congregation that is honored to be part of his life. May we, as a sacred community, be worthy of providing him a safe and nurturing home where he will learn and thrive as he travels a path filled with love and blessing. We look forward to being there as Sean and Rabbi Adina raise Ari just as they have raised Jonah, with love, faith, and acceptance. And may they all come to enjoy a life filled with health, happiness, and peace. Amen.
With all our hearts, with all our souls, with all of our might, we pray that God will watch over Ari and our entire family. We pray for the ability to love and nurture our son, to provide for him and to educate him, to understand him and to allow him the freedom to grow. Amen.
Amen.
With all of our hearts, with all of our souls, with all of our might, we pray for Ari's continued health and well-being. We pray for him to be strong in mind and body, to grow steadily and sturdily in a home filled with joy. We pray that he will become a person who greets the world with passion, courage, humility, humor, and patience. And together we say,
Amen. There's a blessing among our people that translates, "Blessed are you, eternal God, rule of the world, who gives life, who sustains life, who brings us to the most important, most joyous moments of our lives." Please join with us.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
There are three names by which a person is called. One which his father and mother call him, one which people call him, and one that he earns for himself. The best of all is the one that he earns for himself. May the name that Ari will earn come to represent kindness, compassion, justice, and blessing, as together we say. Amen. We invite Ari's parents to share with us a few words about the Hebrew name that Ari was given on his 8th day, and which we pray will bring him blessing each day forward.
Ari Seth in English, Ari Shet in Hebrew, is named for two beloved family members who have passed since Jonah was born. Ari is for my grandmother Rita, who his great-Grammy, who did get to meet her first great-grandchild. And she was a force to be reckoned with, and a woman who loved to eat, as he clearly does at this moment in time. And Ari is Hebrew for lion, and we hope that he'll be both as strong as my great-grandmother and as the lion, his favorite animal already. And Seth is for my cousin Sandy, my grandmother's first cousin, who was also a very strong person and a man of honor. And so we hope that Ari Seth honors their memories with his name.
Amen. Second reading.
We dedicate our son to Torah, to an insatiable fascination with study and learning. With the book Ari, Never Be Alone. We dedicate our son to Chuppah, a loving relationship, to never-ending growth as a human being, capable of giving love as well as receiving it. We dedicate our son to Ma'asim Tovim, an ethical life, to a passionate concern for family and community, justice and charity. As Ari reaches out to others, he will always be surrounded by those who care deeply about his well-being.
We rise together. Friends, there's a blessing that comes from Talmud, a creative expression that we together invite Ken and Orly and Ann to lead us in this blessing, our communal blessing for Ari and his family.
We join together as a community in offering the blessing on the screen to Ari. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come. And may you trust in generations past and yet to be. May your heart be filled with intuition and your words be filled with insight.
May songs
of praise ever be upon your tongue and your vision be on straight paths before you. May your eyes shine with the light of holy words and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips speak wisdom and your fulfillment be in righteousness, even as you ever yearn to hear the words of the holy ancient one of old.
Okay, Jonah, come on forward with your brother Ari, and Mommy and Daddy, come on forward. We invite the grandparents to wrap you in the talit. Here we go.
We also have the other great Grammy with us tonight.
Ah, great Grammy and grandparents. Friends, in this week's Torah portion, we learn about this blessing that we're about to share with Ari and his family. It is called Birkat Kohanim. It is the blessing that Aaron was told by Moses that he and his sons would be able to impart to ensure that God's blessing would be upon the people. So what a beautiful Shabbat, Parashat Naso, to share these words as a blessing for Ari, but most especially for his entire family. May they come to know God's presence and God's love. May they come to know our presence and our love as we welcome Ari and his whole family, of course, such an important part of the BethChaim family. So we invite the grandparents to hold them tight, wrapped in the talit, the symbol of God's wings to share and hold us and protect us as we offer this blessing. May God bless you and protect you.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה.
May God's presence always be with you and be gracious to you.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
May God's eyes be focused on you as they are at this moment. And may God bless you, your family, your people, and all peoples of this world with God's greatest gift of all, the gift of peace.
Amen. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Yeilanu, 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 ulechol Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yeilanu, yeilanu, ulechol
Yeah.
Poor thing.
Bobby will.
I really can't, but I really can't.
לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, השם תפארת ותהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לנו ונלכה, כי בכל הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמה נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמה נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, והעורך ומי עורך, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני אלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, קם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמת נקבלה. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, למד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכונו ביום אחד ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה ומרה לעלם נולד בעמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר יתרומן ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשה בריחו לעילם יתרו ברכתה ושירתה, ושמחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shem kevod malchuto, leolam vaed. Shem kevod malchuto, leolam vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You may be seated. La 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 למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We are the wandering Jews. We wander from place to place, and the beginning of that journey is what we celebrate with this prayer. We make our way out of Egypt. We get to the shores of the sea. Thanks to God's miracle, the sea parts. And our people, 2.2 million, 600 men of fighting age, 600,000 men of fighting age, their wives, their children, the strangers are among them, make their way through the parted sea. They get to the other side. Finally, Moses' hands come down. The chariots that have been chasing them are lost in the sea. And when they get to the other side, Miriam leads the women and the people in this song.
Bye. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל בזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו ואהבה איך עובר מושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה הגיבור לעולם חלומי וחיי הכל אתה מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר הפורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבולות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממיעים ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמנתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני וחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Let's take a moment to be grateful, to give thanks for all the wonderful things in our lives. If there is anyone who is especially thankful this week, please, in a word or a sentence, let us know what you're thankful for. Yes?
I just found out today that first of all, my son graduated from kindergarten. I just found out today that one of my dearest friends who had cancer in her 20s has gotten pregnant.
Let's say thanks for that. Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach. Yes. Say again. For God. Nice. Yes.
In his 75th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, I'd like to give special thanks to all those who gave their lives, all those who suffered on D-Day.
Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach. Yes. Yay. Yes.
I'm thankful that while I was sick, my family cooked for me.
Oh.
I'm grateful that Rachel is here to bless us with her gorgeous singing voice.
Yeah. Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach. Yeah.
Two things. One, I just had a birthday.
Mazel tov.
My daughter put it down, put it in an offer on a house in Cleveland, and her bid was accepted.
Oh, yay. That's a good place to put in a plug. Everybody come tomorrow evening for Shavuot confirmation. Yes.
In the last couple of weeks, I sang with an agent and booked my first New York gig.
Mazel tov. Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach.
Oh.
29 years. Wow. Yes. That one back there?
מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו לך.
Oh, more. Normal CAT scans. Good medical news. Always use some of that. Any more before we? Yes. Yes. All right. So let's say thanks for that.
מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו לך.
And now we pray for peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Sim Me'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Sim Me'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tov enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, הברך את עמו ואת עמו ישראל בשלום. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We continue with silent prayer. as our spirits have begun to continue to open, so let us pause to open our hearts and our minds just a little bit wider as we prepare to offer a blessing on behalf of all who are in need of healing. On this Shabbat, we reach out to God and ask that God will partner with us as we try to bring an extra measure of love and blessing, peace and wholeness to those who seek healing of body, of mind, and of spirit. On this Shabbat, our prayers are especially with Megan Mary DePero, Rhoda Schwartz, Arlene Grable, Donald Molaski, Teddy Molaski, Nathan Hector, Jeff Stoller, Phil Jarvis, Marilyn Bessel, Jan Gale, Claire Meyer, Allison Stadius, Pamela White, William Jackasola, Stephanie Herman, Lauren Sadek, Donald Hoffman, Chloe Salas Acevedo, and those who we invite you to add to our list as we make our way through the sanctuary.
Moshe ben Hirschverhinder.
Cyril Nacha bat Rachel Sis.
May all whose names have been said aloud, those who remain in our hearts and all throughout this world who are in need of healing, come to know Refuah Shlema, complete and a speedy recovery, as we join together in our blessing for healing. Shabbat shalom, everyone. It wasn't long after the ship had left its port when the merchants that had gathered together, waiting to reach their destination with the hope of becoming rich, began to talk among themselves to compare their wares and just to know that they, of course, were the one that was going to make it rich in the land that lay before them. So the first merchant said to the others, as he coyly opened his large satchel and pulled out one and then another of the most beautiful scarves you had ever seen, made of rich silk, smooth to the touch, filled with vibrant colors. And he paraded his wares among the others. Look how beautiful these scarves are. When we get to the port, I will become a wealthy man. Ha! Said the second merchant. Those are nice, but look what I have brought to sell. And he very gently reached into a box that lay before him and took out one and then another of these vases that were so magnificent that they refracted the light in a way that a rainbow would appear around them. And he pointed to the beauty of the light and of the vases and their delicate nature, proud that he, of course, had the most beautiful of all to sell. Ordinary number one and ordinary number two, the third merchant said. You may think you have something special. And as he took out a pouch and he laid before them gold and silver necklaces, and as if they weren't important and expensive enough by what they were made of, he pointed to the fact that each necklace was unique because he himself had handmade each part of each necklace to be magnificent and special, and therefore he knew, as beautiful as the wares may be for the other two, that he was going to be the most successful. And so the three of them went at it, one after the other, competing. Mine is more special, yours is more special, until they paused and agreed, the three of us, at least we know the three of us among all who will be selling their wares, we will become wealthy men. And then they went at it again. Me wealthier, no, me wealthier, I'm going to raise the most money. And as the competition grew and grew, the first merchant, the one who had the scarves, noticed that there was actually a fourth merchant who was with them. A quiet, humble man who was sitting in the corner, just watching and listening. And he said, hey, you, what have you brought? What precious cargo do you have with you on this ship? And the man very humbly took out a little pouch that had a little scroll. And he said, all I have with me is this Sefer Torah. They laughed at him in unity. They pointed, that puny thing? You've got to be kidding me. This ship is going to port. We're going to make it rich, and all you have is that thing? And when they were done bullying him and making fun, they again started the competition again. They went to sleep. 2 days passed, 3 days passed, until there was a commotion like they couldn't anticipate. Pirates had boarded the ship. Pirates in seek of treasures to pillage and make their own. And they came aboard and they searched the ship. And they found these beautiful scarves. And they took them and threw them into the pirate ship. Then they came across those vases. And very carefully and very delicately, they took them from the cargo ship and they put them into the pirate ship. And then, of course, they found hidden in a corner the gold and the silver necklaces. And they grabbed them and they passed it from one to the other until finally it made it into the ship. Then they pointed to that man the one who had been in the corner a few days earlier. "Show us what you have aboard the ship," they said. And he gently brought them the Sefer Torah, and he handed it to them with care. And they laughed and said, "That's it? Who cares?" And they threw it back to him. He caught it, carefully tucked it away. And the ship went on, and 2 days later, when they got into port and all of the merchants got off, the first three were devastated. All of the money that they had in the world they had used to buy those wares, to sell and make a fortune, they were wiped out. And the fourth man came off, humble, with only the little scroll. And they all watched him as he walked off the ship, and he made his way down the street, and he found this little Beit Midrash, this little house of study. And he quietly walked in, and there were a group of men studying around the table. Back then, only men studied. Today, thank God, things have evolved. But he saw the men studying around the table, and he quietly listened. And they had one dilemma that they reached to, one challenging piece of text that they didn't understand. And they looked at the man, and he answered with humility and with eloquence. And they thought, And they came up with one of the challenges they had had the day before that no one could answer. And the man so beautifully taught the text. For a half hour, they learned and they heard his words of Torah. And they knew they had someone special in their midst. So they asked him to please not only stay for dinner, but to stay and be their teacher, that they would care for him, if he would only bring them words of Torah. Well, as quickly as he had said yes, he became aware that there was a commotion out the window of the Beit Midrash. There was those three merchants who were kind of waving him to come outside. And he did. And they said to him, "Sir, we realized that we treated you so poorly on that ship, with disrespect, with hatred. We made fun of you, we bullied you, and we hope you will accept our apology. And sir, we were wondering if we can impose on you. Please, we have nothing left. Could you ask this beautiful little community that clearly has come to respect you to please consider offering us a meal?" I said, "No problem." He went inside. He told the community of his friends that he had traveled with who were without a place to eat. And as Jews do, we pray. They invited them in. They served them. They took care of them. And the rest, as they say, happily ever after. You know, the reason I decided to tell this story, those of you who are following the Sefer Torah know that this week the portion is actually Naso. As I mentioned in the ritual of celebration, it includes Birkat Kohanim. It's not related to this story, but the text that we will read tomorrow night, Erev Shavuot, is all about that story. I purposely shared with you during the service that Micha Mocha is the beginning of the journey from Egypt. And we are told in the Torah that our people wandered for 7 weeks of 7 days, 49 days, and guess what? Here we are, 49 days after we began the Exodus from Egypt. Today, tomorrow is the 50th day. And we are told that the people were to prepare for something awesome to happen the next night. And they bathed and they cleaned their clothes and they prepared themselves spiritually. And unlike the movie, as I always point out, Moses went up the mountain, but Moses came down the mountain. And Moses was with the people on that 50th day that begins at sundown tomorrow night. And the mountain shook, and there was smoke, and there was lightning and thunder. And all of the people heard, "Anochi Adonai Elohecha, asher hotzeiticha me'eretz Mitzrayim, mi beit avadim The first of the commandments, I am Adonai your God, who brought you forth from Egypt to be your God. I am your God. 10 commandments they heard. They couldn't handle the intensity. And they asked Moses to get the rest of the Torah, which is when he goes up the mountain to do just that. Tomorrow night, we will reenact that sacred moment. And we will give thanks for the gift of Torah, which finds a way if we hold fast to it, if we learn from it, if we appreciate it, if we live it, not only in its words of halakha, of Jewish law, but in the spirit of its call to faith and righteousness and justice, that Torah has a way of leading us from here to there, to that place we want to be. So a thought from this week's celebration. May Torah guide us and bring us learning, insight, pursuit of justice, and most of all, may it bring us peace. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We rise together.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, להתחיל לנו את סדר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו בהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Please be seated. Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, we will observe Yizkor. We will come together as a community to remember our loved ones, those who have passed during this last year. All of their names will be read, our loved ones, as well as others who you wish to recall. We do that 4 times a year. But on Shabbat and other times we gather, we have the same opportunity to remember and to be inspired by our loved ones who are no longer with us, to make sure that their memory brings us on a path towards righteousness through a life of Torah to bring blessing to the world around us. So we invite you to think of your loved ones at this time, to be inspired by them as we prepare to honor the memories of those whose yahrzeit and Shiva Shloshim we observe. On this Shabbat, we honor the memory of those for whom we continue in the first 7 days as we remember Cynthia Stein, the mother of Adam Sukov, and Barbara Goldfarb, the mother of Michelle Shapiro. We continue in the period of the 30 days since death as we recall with love Genia Burke, the mother of Toby Arias, Barry Altman, the husband of Lois Weber Altman, and Tamara Seletsky, the mother of Ruth Kamen. And on this Shabbat, we honor the memories of those whose yahrzeit is celebrated to recall with love Simon Babbitt, Donald Becker, Sarah Becker, Ann Trott, William Lewis Bloomberg, Beatrice Chernev, Rita Sokoloff, Alex Buchbinder, Maddie Lippitz, Thelma Pestiora, Dorothy Stanley, Carly Eder, Doreen Eisenberg, David Garwood, Branislav, Jacob Zumbalot, Eva Green, Beverly Mita, Ruth Basin, Rose Craham, William Okrent, Ray Lindenbaum, Lansing Lichtman, Bruce Berwick, Alec Needleman, Joseph Sheps, Martha Sachs, Sharon Silverman, Bella Berman, Rose Lindenbaum, Sylvia Bakerman, Eric Kovsky, Paul Short. If the name of a loved one has been read, we invite you to please stand at this time. If a name has not been read and you're observing Shiva Shloshim or a yard site, we ask you to please rise and say the name of your loved one aloud. In loving honor of all whose names have been said aloud and those who no longer have anyone to recall their memory, we invite all over the age of bar bat mitzvah to stand alongside our mourners in act of love and support. Together we share Kaddish Yatom. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabah, v'yalmad yivrach v'yutei v'yamlik malkutei, v'chayei chon v'yomei chon, v'chayei d'chol beis Yisrael, v'agalav yizman kariv v'yimru. Yehei shemei rabah mevarach le'olam olomei al-maya, yikarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitaman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei k'v'shah v'yiku. Ve'ila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, ta'miran ba'alma v'yimru. Yehei shalom rabba min shamaya, v'chayim alim yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Oseh shalom b'mirma, hu ya'aseh shalom, alim yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say. Amen. Please be seated.
Mr. Neal. Mr. Neal.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Neil Feder, and I'm here representing the Board of Directors again. I would like to offer our appreciation to the ushers and ONEG hosts and hostesses for their help tonight. A special thanks to our wonderful Shabbat. And I think we've had a rather full evening and very enjoyable, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Okay, Gabe would like to say something.
Real quick, for those who aren't doing anything tomorrow, is Robbinsville Community Day, whether you're from Robbinsville or not, so it's a full day. We have a BethChaim tent over there, so you can come by, say hello to me, because I'm going to be at the booth all day. Come by. Fireworks are at 8 o'clock as well, and it's a really fun day. It's by, where is it? Soccer fields. Thank you. Gordon Road.
And please pay attention to those events that are on the bulletin board up on the screen tonight. We have a lot of good stuff coming up.
We'll close with Oseh Shalom, the last lines of Kaddish.
This is the month of the volunteer at Beth Chaim. Next week, we invite all of our volunteers to be honored. The week after, we're going to have a chance to say a special thank you to the choir. Tonight, I want to say a special thank you to the cantor, and let the cantor say a special thank you to his band that creates the most beautiful rock Shabbat of all.
And special guest star, Rachel.
And the other members of the band. Thank you to Gabe, and to Cliff, and to Dan, and to the cantor himself, of course. We invite to the front of the bima all of our congregants who have not yet reached the age of bar bat mitzvah. Come on up. Some of you, it's wishful thinking. The others really qualify. Come on, guys, hold it really tight. We rise together. We have to join into the blessing. You know why? Because there's a very special oneg sponsored by the Blum family in honor of Ari waiting for us. This is the pathway to the oneg. Hold it really tight, fast, fast, fast. Cantor's going to lead us.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Okay, everyone take a piece quick. And then go back to stand with your families. Everyone, we invite you to please put your arm around a loved one. Reach out a hand to a friend. Reach out a hand and make a new friend. You can take the big one.
What? You come over here.
Eternal God, we stand before you in thanksgiving as we offer you our thanks for all of our blessings in life, for the beauty of music that's brought to us by talented people. We give thanks to you, Eternal God, for the love that comes from family, for the support we gain from friends, for the strength and inspiration we get from being part of a sacred community. We give thanks to you, Eternal God, for the blessings of new life that remind us with their cry of how pure and beautiful life can be. Eternal God, we invoke your name as our people first did in this week's parashah at Sinai. So we ask that your blessing will be with each one of us, with our family, our friends within our community and the world during Shabbat and the days to come.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless us and nurture us.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's countenance shine upon us and be gracious to us.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God look upon us as God is at this sacred moment. May God bless us and all peoples of this world with peace.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.